Hello my friends! I had hoped to do this video when I didn't have the air conditioner going or the fan going, but there might be some background humming and buzzing, but sorry about that. Yeah, it's hot. Let's see, 99 degrees. Yesterday was hotter. I'll take 99. But I wanted to, I guess, share my experience in Las Vegas with you all because, and as always, I want to hear from you guys what your experience is like be out there in the world, because I feel like some things, I guess, kind of crystallized. I mean, maybe they were there and maybe I've talked about them before, but I don't know. Something just, I feel like, really came together in terms of, I guess, again, you know, my understanding my Parkinson's body and like the awareness of kind of like being hyper aware of our environments and being sensitive to those environments, to changes in those environments. So I live in a rural area. So when I go to any urban situation, I always talk about wavelength. And it's like you're entering a different wavelength. It's like a different realm to go from, you know, kind of like the quiet countryside into like the buzz of the city, right? So, you know, my country wavelength is down here is, ooh, you know, it's just like a nice steady hum, you know, like a sound of the universe, like an ohm, right? But then when you get into the city, it's like the frequency is way higher of the wavelength, and it's like, bzzz, you know, it's just this is different. Now, in familiar settings, like when I go to San Francisco, I mean, because I've been in the Bay Area since 1997, like this is very familiar for me. You know, it can happen every now and then, like it's happened, I've had, you know, a few moments of off time at concerts and stuff like that, which I've discussed in the past, but this experience in Vegas was very different. And I think in part, well, there's, I think, a number of reasons, but let me just kind of share some of like my, I guess, like physical and emotional observations, because it was intense, and I'm kind of still trying to process it all. But anyways, so it's kind of amazing what I was able to achieve in one sense. Like, so on Sunday, June 30th, I flew into Las Vegas and I registered late for a tournament called Colossus, which is a $400 tournament at the World Series of Poker. I actually made it to day 2, so that means I cashed in that tournament. I mean, that is a huge, huge deal. I mean, when we finally reached in the money, people at my table were almost in tears. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, you definitely want to get to like the top. You want to go even deeper. So out of 10,153 players, I finished 1,109th place for $980. First prize for that was $501,000 or something like that. So just to kind of put it in perspective. But, you know, I outlasted quite a number of poker players, so I'm proud of that. And yeah, and it was amazing because like I flew that day, then I went straight in and played poker. But I was in this very strange place. So it was at the Paris and Horseshoe. I had never stayed in either property. I haven't been to Vegas in years. It was like crazy hot, and these properties are just like gargantuan. I'm sure if you're familiar with them, I mean, it's just like, I was telling my mom that like I walked over to the Bellagio, you know, and I was like, it's like a mile away, Mom. Like, it's just such a huge walk. But I found myself like the things that I experienced they had to do with the sounds of the slot machines. I found them very like mind jumbling. It was like chaotic, and it just, which I think it normally has like that kind of a sound, but it affected me in a different way. I mean, like I think the intention of those dings and rings and stuff is like to kind of, you know, numb you and like hypnotize you, but like there was just something chaotic about it, and everything felt disjointed. And the people, there were just so many people, and it was really overwhelming, I have to say. And you know, I like these rooms, these conference rooms where the tournaments happen. I mean, I just had like, you know, I got worried that like, what if I can't make it back to the poker table? And nothing like that happened. But what all of that made me realize was how draining this disease is. Like, okay, so for normal healthy people, life and an event like that can be extremely draining for a healthy person, right? But just even like in our normal everyday existence, I feel like this applies because like there's a couple of different things going on. So like the first part, and I've talked about this before about like, you know, the Parkinson's body, and like now that I'm 10 years in and I'm starting to have more on and off moments, and these on and off moments do not operate like clockwork, right? Like there can be like a 3 or 4 hour stretch where I'm totally normal. And then at that 4 hour mark, it's just like, ooh, you know, I get really dyskinetic, or I go off for a little bit, you know? And so the way that I've described this in the past is like, you know, it's like you're normal 1 minute, and then you're not normal the next, and then you're normal again, and then it's like you go through it throughout the whole day. And I feel like going in and out of that reality, it has like its own kind of draining impact, because you know me, I want to keep the smile on my face, and you know I'm going to keep going. And there's a drain and an energy that's required to be like, okay, you know, yes, this is happening. So you've got that going on, right? And then, you know, to have that drain, and then you're existing in this like insane environment, like whether it be work or like at a concert or at a restaurant or in Vegas, you know, just wherever it is, you know, on top of like this reality, it's like, I feel like everything just got magnified. But yeah, everything just felt magnified, and it felt bigger. I felt like my sensitivity as somebody with Parkinson's, like more acutely, I feel like than I normally feel it. And which is weird to say because it's always with you. But it was so with me while I was there, you know. It was just like, because the hotel, like the properties are just so big. It's just like this scale. I don't know. Yeah, so that was kind of my experience, and I got claustrophobic despite how big those properties are. It was also kind of strange to have that feeling of claustrophobia because of the space. But it was like, even in my room, like my curtains were closed because like I didn't want the sun coming in because it was so hot. Everything was like closed and concrete, and I just could not wait to get home. And I was traveling alone, and I don't know, I will never do Vegas alone again. I might try to do the World Series of Poker one more time, but I won't do it alone, that's for sure. But, you know, I could probably travel home to Chicago by myself still. But, yeah, I feel like I'm reaching kind of like that point where, I don't know, like this processing all of that stuff was just like, whoa, way intense. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you, and would love to hear your stories, your experience. I mean, I was able to stay focused and, you know, not panic. You know, I did shed some tears, that's for sure, one morning when I was just totally sleep deprived. I mean, Vegas, I feel like for the undisciplined or somebody as splashy as I am, it's just not good. Like it will suck you dry. And yeah, so, and I came home just exhausted. I slept for like almost 48 hours straight. Like I'd be awake for a little bit, and then I'd go back to sleep, then I'd be awake for a little bit, and then go back to sleep. I mean, I did that for like 2 days, and I'm still tired. So yeah, that's it. Hope everyone's doing great out there, and yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks.